everyone, this is Eileen from Eileen Stuffs, and today we will be budgeting with my October 15th paycheck. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. I am a cash budgeter and stuffer here on YouTube, and I am working on paying off debt as well as building up an emergency and sinking funds. So if that is something that you're interested in and you haven't already, please consider subscribing below. Okay, so this paycheck started out hopeful. Nice paycheck, all was good, and then something completely threw me off. So this budget's gonna look a little different than it usually does because I had a huge payment that I needed to make for Riley. Just threw everything off. So originally I thought I was gonna have enough to make a huge snowball payment, like hundreds of dollars, do a budget, and I had to take Riley to a vet specialist, which ended up costing me just basically $800. It was $799.59. Plus her medicine was like, well, part of that is some medicine, and then other medicine was another $35.44. So I basically, out of this paycheck, I ended up spending $835 on Riley. So it just kind of threw everything off. So now what we're doing is we're just kind of, a lot of that money included like my money for basically my budget for the 2 weeks. So everything got flipped upside down. So we're going to go through everything as normal, but there's just going to look a little different than it usually does. But we'll get started with what my pay was. So this was for the 15th of October. And like I said, my pay was nice. It was $3,655. So these paychecks, so much better for me, really helping. I also had rollover, which I'm laughing because I just did that whole video about my financial audit. Then I was like, I have to come back with another small rollover because that was pretty much after I did out most of this damage. Same things though. But my rollover was $58.04. Out of the $3,655, I did take out estimated taxes, which have already been paid for. Basically just went and paid them on the IRS because I'm trying to make sure I get that good. I put 1,000, but I actually took out 1,400 for taxes. It was a little over 30%, like by a few hundred. 30% taxes came out to 1,096, but if you remember my first pay, I didn't take out as much as I should have, and I said I'd take out more, so I did. Added another $304 to that to make it an even $1,400. We started out with $3,655, and then we took out $1,400 for taxes. All right, so we have $3,655 minus $1,400. So that left us with $2,255 for the budget. So again, pretty good. And then when I added back in that rollover of $58.04, that gave me a total of, is that right? 2,255 plus 58.04. Yeah, I guess so. It gave me a total of $2,313.04. So that was my budget. I have all my bills written out, including a purchase I needed to make that I accounted for ahead of time, because that's something else that came up in the financial audit, was writing out things I needed and then waiting to budget it. So I actually am trying that out this month. And I totaled up everything just to see, like, all my basic bills, including my purchase that I need, only came out to $1,472.70. Plus and I was like, hey, cool, I paid my taxes, paid all my bills, accounted for a purchase I needed, and I still would have had like an extra $900. And then this happened, which just totally threw me off. So I usually just write the total up here and then we deduct it, but so the balance I should have in my bank would technically be $2,313. However, bank statement is showing $1,880.84. And the reason why is because it's already from this, the $799.59 is already pending, the meds are already pending, and I actually ended up moving $400 from my savings account online that I have like a $500 buffer in, that I pulled it This was basically, we're going to bring me down to like $8 left, which that's obviously not going to help me survive. So I ended up pulling $400, which brought my balance from $2,300 to $2,700. But I checked off that this is already pending, this is already pending. So what my bank actually has to work with is actually $1,880.84. So this is the most accurate amount after the deductions and additions. I hope that makes sense. We have $1,880 left, but we don't have to account for this anymore. So that's why I made a note that they've already been paid. Now we're gonna see what we're left with and if we're gonna need this 400 buffer or not. But I think we will. However, I do have some good news about this. My ex actually owes me $500, which he's supposed to be giving me this weekend. So I realized, oh, I'll just take that $500. It's actually for dog sitting. So it's not like I gave him that money. I did some dog sitting for him. So he's paying me $500 because it was like 10 days. So when he pays me the $500, I'm going to just basically replace this buffer and put it back because I like having that $500 in the savings account. So I'm going to put that back and then I'll have $100 left over, which I'll probably just keep in my checking account as rollover. I don't know if I'm going to end up with much like buffer in my checking. So this will be paid back on Sunday, which is the good news. It's going to help me kind of offset this cost. We're going to start with the 1,880.84, and this is my credit and car heavy one. I should start writing this somewhere else because this is kind of the total bill, but I feel like it gets confused, which for me, I put it in a confusing spot. Minus my car, that'll bring me down to $1,405.84. Now my Snowball credit card is currently saying there's no balance. That's because I've made a Snowball payment of $50. So when I'm doing these second Snowball payments, the new bill's already generated, so it's paying it, and then it's saying I owe nothing, you know. So I'm technically like a month ahead because of all the snowballs I've done. Nothing is technically due, but obviously I do have to make some kind of snowball payment, which I will probably do with that extra 100. So we're gonna skip that for now. Then I have 66 for this card, which brings it down to $1,339.84. And then we have a credit card for 38. Which brings me down to 1,301.84, one for 91. So now we're down to 1,210.84. Then we have the big ones. This one's 112. That's 1098.84. 150, which is 948.84. And cool news, my biggest credit card actually went down by like what was it last month? I feel like it's been in the 260s, right? Yeah, it's been 265. It went down to 258. So I'm seeing a trend in the right direction with this one. So 258 brings me down to 690.84. I have my student loan, well, one of them. So that's 640.23. Just have one easy pay of 649. So the rest of them are pretty much done. So that's 633.74. My last medical bill was $61.30 a month, but they always like divide it, and then the last payment's always cheaper. Last payment's only $57.40. That'll be done after this, which is awesome. That'll bring me down to $576.34, and the medical will be done again. You have internet coming out for $45, so that gives me $531.34. I'm leaving $50 for gas, so that'll bring me down to $481.34. So as you can see, this pretty much took any of the extra money I would have had. And I do, like I said, I'm trying to budget for my shopping and put it in my plan instead of doing it willy-nilly, right? So the Amazon purchases, there's like a couple things I needed for the house, something I needed for work. It only came out to $73.20 because I really shopped around, and it's like 4 things. So I'm going to account for that in my budget so I don't take it extra. It brings me down to $408.14. If I wouldn't have added that 400 buffer after paying all these bills and paying the vet specialist of $800 and the meds, I would have been left with $8, which obviously isn't going to work. So that's why I did put in the 400. So now I have 408, and thank you to that little bit of buffer I had, because I was not I thought the vet specialist might be between 500-700 was the highest, but the blood work was over 300 by itself. I was not expecting that. So definitely wasn't expecting this amount, but I almost had a moment, you guys, where I was like, I should just put this on a credit card. And then I sat there like, I have the cash. It just means I'm going to have to make a sacrifice, but I know I have 500 coming this weekend. And the right thing to do would just be to pay it cash. And so I did. And so I'm kind of proud of myself because I really was tempted to put it on a credit card just to make my life easier. And I was like, I'm going to pay so much more for this if I do. I did this instead. No sinking funds this time. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to try to do anything extra. What I decided is I'm just going to take out $200 for food because that's what I always do. And that'll bring me down. All right, you guys, if everything looks different, it's because my ring light actually just fell over. Something else I talked about in my last video, but my ring light, basically just the stand broke. The ring light is kind of propped up on the table, but not very well. And it just fell over. So I think I mean, it's still filming, but you might see a little bit of a different view. So yikes. Anyway, I was saying was I'm going to take out my normal $200 for food. I really need to go food shopping. The most important thing, paying my bills, taking care of my dog, paying my taxes. I just need to eat. So that's pretty much all I have to think about until my next paycheck. And the reason why also I don't want to take too much of this extra money out because it's technically my savings buffer and I'm pretty much borrowing it right now. I'm going to leave in the bank the $208.14, and then when I get paid for dog sitting, which again is $500, that'll give me $708.14, and then I'll put the $400 back to pay that back right away, and I should have $308.14 in my bank, and then I think I'll do a snowball of 100. Then I'll have 208. So I'll still end up with 208, but it's going to be this weird. Leave 208, add 500, take away 400, pay 100. So eventually I will pay 100 towards my snowball and then end up again with 208. And nothing else yet. So like I said, I'm going to be pretty strict because I don't have any business. I mean, the biggest thing I needed to purchase I've accounted for, but I don't have any business doing anything else because I just spent that huge amount of money on my dear puppy. That's pretty much it. I hope that makes sense. It was like, I tried to figure it out and make it as simple. I'm incredibly grateful for my new job because it's been such a blessing in my life. This is a great case in point that it was allowed me to account for something this big, but take care of my dog. Hope you're having a wonderful week and a wonderful Wednesday. I thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.